Imagine walking into a village where nobody has lived for almost 200 years. There are houses, temples, narrow streets, windows looking out over the desert. Everything you would expect from a village, except people. No families. No children running between the houses. No conversations behind the walls. And according to some visitors, even the animals refuse to cross into the village. But at night, people still hear footsteps. They hear crying, voices speaking from inside houses that have been empty for generations. And sometimes in the dust, visitors find tiny footprints. Children's footprints. The problem is, there are no children in Kuldhara. There is no one in Kuldhara. Because almost 200 years ago, according to legend, an entire community left this village in the middle of the night. And before they disappeared, they cursed it. Tonight, we're going to the Thar Desert of Rajasthan, India, to visit a village that looks frozen in time. Kuldhara. Welcome to the podcast, You Can't Unhear. If you only saw Kuldhara in photographs, you probably wouldn't immediately think haunted. Honestly, it's beautiful. The village sits in the desert of Rajasthan, surrounded by sand, dry vegetation, and an enormous open sky. The buildings are made from yellow sandstone, the same warm desert colour that makes places around Jaisalmer look almost golden under the sun. There are narrow pathways between ruined homes, old doorways, stone walls, temples. From the right angle, Kuldhara looks less like a haunted village and more like a movie set. But then you notice something. There is nobody there. Kuldhara was once a thriving settlement associated with the Paliwal Brahmins, a community remembered for their ability to survive in an environment where farming should have been incredibly difficult. This is the Thar Desert. Water matters. The land is harsh. Rainfall is unpredictable. And yet, according to historical accounts and local stories, the Paliwals developed ways to manage water and cultivate the land. Kuldhara became prosperous, a miracle village in the desert. But then, it emptied. According to the most famous version of the story, sometime in the early 19th century, the people of Kuldhara abandoned their homes. Not slowly. Not one family at a time. The legend says they left together in one night. Some versions even claim residents from dozens of nearby Paliwal villages disappeared with them. Imagine that. You wake up in the morning. You walk toward a neighbouring village. The houses are there. Cooking spaces, courtyards, temples. But every person is gone. Thousands of people simply removed themselves from the desert, and according to the legend, before leaving, they made sure nobody would ever replace them. They cursed the village. No one would live in Kuldhara again. And almost 200 years later, the village is still empty. Now, I need to tell you about a story involving a group of college students. The students wanted to visit what they had heard described as one of India's most haunted villages. They arrived late in the afternoon, just before sunset. The light was already changing. The yellow stone was becoming darker. The desert heat was fading. They paid the entrance fee and began exploring. But before they went deeper into the village, a gatekeeper apparently gave them a warning: leave before dark. Then he added something strange. Try not to look. That's it. Try not to look. Look at what? The students didn't know. And apparently they didn't ask enough questions. They explored until the sun began disappearing, then pretended to leave. But instead of going home, they secretly returned. They wanted to spend the night inside Kuldhara, because apparently every haunted place story needs at least one group of college students making a terrible decision. At first, nothing happened. The village became dark and quiet. Very quiet. One thing visitors frequently mention about Kuldhara is the silence. The surrounding desert isn't completely dead. There are birds, insects, animals, wind moving through the landscape. But some visitors claim that once they walk deeper into the ruins, the atmosphere changes. The sound seems to disappear. The students noticed it too. Then they heard whispering. Not wind, not insects, voices. The problem was, they couldn't tell where the voices were coming from. One whisper seemed to come from a house on their left, then another from behind them, then somewhere farther away. They couldn't understand the words, but they could hear people speaking. One of the students walked toward a window. He looked inside. Empty. He checked the room. Nobody. Then the footsteps started. At first, one set, slow movements across the stone. Then another, and another. The students later described it as though people were moving around them, circling them. Not running, not attacking, just walking. They tried to sleep, but nobody could, because every time they closed their eyes, they had the same feeling. Someone was standing close, extremely close. One student claimed he saw a shadow pass a window. Another said he could feel something beside his face, not touching him. Just there, watching. Eventually, they closed their eyes and waited for sunrise. Remember the gatekeeper's warning? Try not to look. So they didn't. They spent the remaining hours of the night with their eyes closed, listening to footsteps moving around them. And the moment the sun appeared, they grabbed their belongings and ran. Now, maybe they frightened themselves. They already knew Kuldhara's reputation. They entered expecting ghosts. They stayed inside an abandoned village at night, in complete darkness, and their minds filled in the gaps. That's possible. But then there are stories from people who didn't go there looking for a supernatural experience. One widely repeated account involves a journalist visiting Kuldhara. According to the story, her phone was fully charged when she arrived. Then, it suddenly died. Her camera stopped functioning. The driver's phone also reportedly failed. 3 devices, all having problems inside the village. But when they crossed back outside Kuldhara, the devices worked again. The journalist reportedly described the silence as the most unsettling part. Not screaming. Not ghosts appearing in windows. Silence. Like the entire village was holding its breath, waiting for them to leave. And this is where Kuldhara's reputation becomes even stranger. People sometimes claim animals avoid the ruins, that birds may be present in the surrounding desert, but the deeper you walk into Kuldhara, the less life you notice. Now, animals avoiding abandoned structures can have completely normal explanations. Heat, lack of food, human visitors, changes in habitat. But what if animals can sense that humans can't? Because when your dog refuses to enter a room, you notice. When a horse suddenly stops walking, you notice. And when people tell you that living creatures have avoided the same village for generations, eventually, someone is going to ask why. Kuldhara's paranormal reputation became even more famous after reports of investigations by paranormal groups in India. One of the most frequently repeated claims involves investigators who said they detected numerous spiritual presences inside the village. Some reports describe dozens of the same things: voices, crying, unexplained sounds. Investigators claim they heard what sounded like languages or speech they couldn't immediately identify. And one detail appears again and again in paranormal stories from Kuldhara: the stones. People say the crying doesn't sound like it's coming from a person standing nearby. It sounds buried, inside the walls, inside the ground, as if the village itself is making the sound. But the detail that people remember most is the children. Small handprints, small footprints, appearing in dust. Except there are no children living in Kuldhara. There haven't been families living normally in those ruins for generations. So, what actually happened here? The village is generally associated with the Paliwal Brahmins, who established communities in this part of Rajasthan centuries ago. They were known as skilled farmers and traders, and Kuldhara prospered. Then, by the 19th century, the village was abandoned. The most famous legend involves a powerful minister named Salim Singh. According to the story, Salim Singh saw the daughter of Kuldhara's village chief, and he wanted her. He demanded that she marry him. The village refused. Salim Singh allegedly threatened the community. If they didn't give him the girl, he would destroy them. Some versions say he increased taxes. Others say he threatened violence. But the villagers understood something. If they stayed, eventually he would win. So the leaders of Kuldhara and the surrounding communities gathered, and they made a decision. They would leave. All of them. The entire community. According to the legend, before the Paliwals left, they cursed Kuldhara. No one else would ever live there. Anyone who tried would suffer. And strangely, the village remained abandoned. There is another version of the legend, and this one is darker. According to some retellings, the village chief had a daughter who was attacked by soldiers. In certain versions, they're described as British soldiers, though the details vary depending on who tells the story. The girl was assaulted and killed, but before she died, she cursed them. Not only the men who hurt her, the village too. The people who couldn't protect her. And after her death, something began moving through Kuldhara. Something angry. Something that no longer recognized the difference between the guilty and everyone else. Eventually, the villagers left, and the girl's spirit remained. Now, I couldn't tell you which version people first told, but the center of the story never changes. Something happened in Kuldhara. The people left, and nobody came back. Today, Kuldhara is visited by tourists. People walk through the ruins, take photographs, record videos, stand inside houses where families once lived. So if you ever visit Kuldhara, and the sun starts disappearing, and the village suddenly becomes quiet, remember what the gatekeeper supposedly told those students. Leave before dark. And try not to look. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe. I'll see you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.